Okay, Elise, you're a real estate agent. What do you think of when you hear the term business planning?
Ooh, discomfort. I don't love the idea of planning, but I know it's important. So there's that little bit of hesitation of wanting to do it. I'm not like, yes, business planning. And I think that's what most agents feel like, which is what kicks off why they're hesitant to do it the right way.
That's right. I also think for a lot of agents, it brings out this feeling of failure where they're setting a big goal and maybe they've done that in the past and they haven't accomplished it. So it just almost subconsciously feels like a pointless exercise. You know, it's like a catch-22, right? Like if you don't set the big goal, you'll never hit it if you don't make a plan. But if you're scared of making a plan, then you'll never hit the big goal.
I think that's why at Reinvest, when we break a business plan into a lot of smaller, more attainable goals, that gives that little bit of dopamine along the way, that tells an agent they're doing the right things, and then also just reminding them to check back in to see where they're at. Because there's nothing worse than going all the way until the end of the year, you've never looked at your business plan, and then you realize you've failed in a big way.
What's up, guys? I'm Lou Raven.
And I'm Elise Palacios.
We're with Reinvest Real Estate. We help real estate agents go from production to legacy. Today we're talking about business planning, a topic most agents know is important. Elise, where is the biggest disconnect for agents between making the plan and actually achieving the goal? Like, why do people fail?
I'm one of those agents that didn't love the idea of business planning, and I was forced into it with the first business that I had, where I was like, all right, what I'm doing is not working. I need to readjust and kind of keep track of things.
Sure.
So you're either forced into it or you start the right way because you just have that planning type of personality, which is great, and that's good for you. You're on the right track.
Most people don't have that, but some do from the jump.
I think most agents drop the ball by not actually taking into account their real life. That's going to happen whether they're working in the real estate business or not. So they have these big goals with a lot of time requirements, and they're not realizing that they still have to pick up their kids from school, or that they're going to have appointments come in that's going to fill those time blocks they set aside to do lead generation and things like that, and failing to really have a really truly realistic grasp of what their current schedule is before adding activities into it.
I love that. That brings up a good point. I feel like your business plan has to fit into your schedule, not the other way around. And you can do that in any number of ways, and it might mean adding more work time if you need to, or just being more efficient. But when an agent fails to plan their personal life first and have that in paper, on their calendar, and then work the business plan into that, then they're setting themselves up for failure from the very start.
And I think a lot of agents focus on getting a hold of their mornings. Like you hear that all the time with productivity coaches and everything like that, of like, if I can just get my absolutely necessary tasks out of the way first thing in the morning, then I feel like I've at least accomplished something.
Yeah, and that's a good practice for most people. I would say look at when you have the most energy and do your most productive or most impactful tasks at that time. But as a general rule, it's morning for most agents.
Yeah, but let's break it back down into what is a business plan.
Yeah.
A lot of agents think it's their dollar amount that they're hoping to earn or the number of houses they're hoping to sell, and they're so stuck on that final number that they don't realize that they have to take into account all of their expenses and everything else that comes along with it.
That's right, and there are a lot of steps between actually setting the goal and accomplishing it, and that's where the business plan comes into play. So PLAN, as you know, is just an acronym. It stands for Project, Limit, Action, and Number, and it's a way to set a business plan into like sort of a simple Mad Lib type of sentence. All right, so a hypothetical business plan could be, I will make $150,000 by selling 30 homes at an average price point of $350,000. I'll do this by action, and I'll do it by the end of 2025. That would be a business plan sentence, and it's got a lot of elements into it, things that are specific and trackable, and actions are actually broken down into day-by-day activities and tasks that you could put into your calendar and your to-do list.
So let's break it down into the three main reasons why most agents fail at business planning, even with the best of intentions.
The first reason that most agents fail at business planning is that they never translate their desire, their income goal, into actual units and into something actionable. They just say, I want to make $100,000 this year. You ask how many units, at what price point, what commission are you charging, are you counting for your expenses? And a lot of agents kind of glaze over at that point in time, which is fair. It's not fun to do this math for most people.
And I think they forget the why also. Like a lot of times people hear a number that somebody else says and they just copy that goal rather than taking into account what's going on in their life, what that money is going to do for them, tying it to something emotional that they actually are passionate about, whether it's improving their family's life, adding more vacations, earning your time back. Like, how can we make this as relatable to your feelings as possible so that you actually dive in and want to take action to meet those goals? A lot of agents aren't numbers people either. So doing that math and actually backpedaling from what they're hoping to achieve is really difficult for most agents. And I don't love spreadsheets, but I do love using Lose spreadsheets, which is why we have the income calculator uploaded on the Skool platform in our Reinvest Real Estate community. And that income calculator is going to help you do all of that math.
Okay, Elise, so an agent writes their goal in plan format. They've translated their income into units. They've come up with their different lead sources. What's the next step that agents fail to take? Why do they fail after they've developed the business plan? Why aren't they hitting their goal?
Because life happens and they forget to actually track if they're doing the activities that are going to help them reach those goals.
So what does that look like? What should you be tracking as an agent?
Your daily activities, your weekly goals, and letting you realize, am I doing what I said I was going to do? So breaking that larger goal into smaller actionable steps is what's going to help you monitor that you're actually maintaining those steps along the way.
That's right. And we have tons of trainings on time blocking and productivity and trackers. So we won't go into the weeds on those, but definitely check out the playlist on productivity and systems. I would say that the one tracker that helps me the most is the monthly habit tracker, because if I just put in the things that I know I have to do every day or every work day, I can see in black and white if I've done them or not. And it's a scorecard that I can hold myself accountable to. Mm-hmm. I can't hide from myself and my own excuses when I see the result on paper.
Speaking of accountability, that's the third reason that agents drop the ball on business planning. It's really hard to hide from yourself using those trackers that are tracking your daily and monthly habits, but it's a lot harder to sit down with your coach, mentor, accountability partner, and tell them that you haven't been doing those activities.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Accountability is crucial for anybody accomplishing anything, whether it's self-accountability or that with a coach. And one thing I do with my coaching clients is we pop up their monthly habit tracker at the beginning of our meetings, and I can see in black and white, and so can they, whether they've done the core activities, like the leading activities that will get them the result. And oftentimes, if people aren't getting the sales result that they want, it comes back to a tracker that shows that they're not doing lead generating. They're not setting the number of appointments that we backed into, that we came up with the math that said, if you do this one thing, you'll be successful. And it tracks almost 100% of the time.
And that's not just for newer agents, to clarify.
Oh yeah.
You and I have that accountability with each other for our own business ventures.
That's right.
And that's something that's usually left behind in the dust because people think, well, I've made it this far. Why do I need somebody to help me get to the next level? And that's where you see agents either go beyond that plateau in their business and earn their time back, or stay in that grind mode where they're getting burnt out and not meeting all of their goals, unfortunately.
That's right. And I'll be the first to admit that I fell into this trap myself recently. I had a long period of time where I was off track and I was not using the habit tracker, and I was just sort of waking up, and I have a calendar I follow, but to be clear, I wasn't doing leading activities that are going to yield the result that I want. So back in April of this year, it's now October when we're filming this, but back in April, I had to commit to getting back on using that monthly tracker every single month and sending it to my coach. And she's been holding me accountable to the results in it. So I'm not trying to be sitting up here on my ivory tower saying, look at you, you're doing it wrong, you don't have the right habits. I fell in that trap myself, and we all need accountability.
Absolutely, and that's what helps us stay accountable to ourselves. And there's also this fine line of realizing that if you don't care enough to at least try and take those first steps, no coach, partner, anything like that is going to help you do that first step.
Yes.
So absolutely stick to what you can, have that extra layer of accountability that's going to make sure you reach your goals. And honestly, if you reach your quarterly review and you're not where you want to be, adjust and invite yourself back to recommit to those goals.
That's
you don't
right.
have to give up halfway through the year.
100%. If you're looking for more resources on business planning, you can check out all the info we have on this YouTube channel, or go over to Skool.com, search for Reinvest Real Estate. There we have a robust community of agents that help each other for free with tons and tons of resources, including everything about business planning.
Yeah. And we have the templates to where you can just write your goals into all of our pre-made templates. That's just going to help you dive into accountability, even if it's for the last quarter of the year, the first quarter, whenever you're watching this video. And keep in mind, business planning is not limited to January 1st. That's also a really limiting belief. You should be planning for your following year in October and November, because we all know that in real estate, your actions show up 60 to 90 days later. So if you're not prepared, you're not able to dive into those actions come January 1st. And realistically, all of your first quarter clients are probably entering your pipeline at the end of the previous year. Can't wait to see you in the community. Click the link below, head on over, introduce yourself, shoot us a DM. We're in there doing real life coaching all of the time beyond all of the resources that are readily available. And don't forget to subscribe. We post new real estate content weekly. We'll catch you on the next video.